welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight, we have an exciting Valorant match between two top teams in the Power Esports Conference. We are in the third week. It's going to be Boise State versus Ohio State University. Both of these teams are raring to go and ready to see who will take the crown in tonight's Valorant match. My name is Audrey Norris. I'm going to be calling all the action with Ethan Johnston as we check in with these Valorant players. So, we know a little bit about the matchup. We know that both of these teams pretty similar comp strategy, style, skill level, and we've heard a little bit about the maps. Now we know that both of the teams kind of prefer bind, so they have some experience with that. With that, there are the strategies that change based on maps. So are there any strategies that you're interested to see going into this matchup tonight?
I think we're going to see a lot of death matches happen with bind, especially because with strategies come they'll clash a lot. I feel like with a lot of different strategies, both teams having a lot of I guess playtime with bind, and having those differences will probably create some clashes with their strategies. So coming into different areas, being like, oh crap, we weren't sure who was here, and so to have that kind of craziness with both abilities, I think that's going to be crazy to see.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when one team has a strategy, right, and it's already solidly locked in, sometimes the best way to break strategy is to have strategy. It just throws everything into chaos because, you know, someone coming in without a plan into someone with a plan, more often than not, the plan's going to win. But when it's plan versus plan, you kind of throw the plan out the window, and now it's just a slugfest to see who gets there, which we did see a little bit last week because there were quite a few times that both teams had a really nice setup, moved in, and then suddenly it was just like, well, we're both dug in, what are we going to do? And so they had to get into it. And so that's going to be a really interesting matchup, I think, to see with Ohio State versus Boise State. We've got a lot of really skilled players on both teams overall, and so I'm excited to see what combos they may bring out with the different characters. I mean, with the newest character added in, we were talking a little bit about Vice. You know, we'll see if that map shows up. I've heard that, you know, one of their favorite maps is Abyss, but that Ohio State, not a big fan of that one, so I doubt we're going to see any of that. But I am excited to see some characters, just interesting characters, you know, maybe more than just the standard Gecko on every map.
Yeah, I think we'll see some differences, especially now with both teams having some similarities with their map picks. I think we'll see some different agents tonight and try to see some varieties.
Yeah, do you think we'll see any interesting... Oh, looks like we actually got the map set up. So we're going to be going into Sunset, Bind, and Haven. So we were talking about Bind. That's the one preference between both teams. Boise State, more of a Sunset preference typically, and Ohio more of a Haven. So we'll see. This will be an interesting matchup, I think. We're going to be going into Boise attacking, starting, which has been a classic move for the entirety of PEC so far, and something they're very comfortable with.
Sunset's a fun one to attack because there's a lot of different areas you can go with that, and a lot of different strategies that you can take to try and get the overhand on the opponent.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I really appreciate about like Valorant map designs, because since it's a little bit slower paced than a lot of like first-person shooter games, they actually like have to really think about how they set up the maps, and I appreciate that because when you watch an Overwatch game, right, like the map itself is important, but not as integral as it is in Valorant. And in addition to the maps being integral, there are also some key skills, like Doc's keys to the game, that if you follow will be able to help you level up your Valorant skills. So in Valorant, make sure to chat your strats every round, stay off the copium, take out your one, and check your angles. Valorant is a very strategic and communicative game, so if you follow these strategies, you'll probably have a pretty good time. And that's what Boise State always does, so we'll get to see which team follows Doc's keys to the game the most closely this time around.
Yeah, well, I think with all that, now Sunset being our first one, I think we're going to see a lot of Cypher being played there with a lot of different traps and things. That's what I've seen most being playing Valorant, and also just seeing differences in Boise State and also Ohio State with their strong picks. We'll see a lot of Cypher, and I feel like maybe some I think like maybe even Vice. I mean, Vice hasn't been played a whole lot, but we can hope.
We can hope. Oh, I loved the design of Vice. It's just a really neat character. First of all, always a fan of like characters that use liquid metal and create shapes. That's a really neat concept, but I really like how their wall and blinds work. They give you a lot of versatility, and like the blind getting the option to just move it through the wall. Like Arc Rose, it doesn't have to sit on the wall you're on. You can very easily put a safety blind. Like you don't have to be very, you don't have to take a lot of risks, I guess, to really set it up. You can just go, oh, this is an advantageous spot, boop, through the wall, done, walking away, going to my next setup, and I just really like that. And also there's the funny part where you can put the wall on Abyss and cause everyone to plummet into the, like, just off the map, and that's, I don't know, I found that really funny. The first clip I saw, I was like, oh, that's going to be rough if that continues, but haven't seen a lot of it yet, so here's to hoping.
Yeah, we can hope. I mean, it's an interesting agent to pick for sure, because it's not a lot of played in a lot of tournaments and things, and they have some really interesting traps though for Vice, and I've seen it before, a Vice and Jet matchup where that gets interesting because some of the traps that gets played don't work very well for Jet just because of some Jet's abilities.
I mean, yeah, when you get the slowdown damage over time as you're trying to run in as a Jet, that's not going to work so well. I mean, they are really good at locking down. I mean, they're a Sentinel. That's their job, right? I've really enjoyed that from them, and you know, I wouldn't be shocked if we see Cypher first. I mean, I'm not going to complain fully. I do love Cypher. Cypher is one of the characters I main. But, you know, it would be fun to see some variety in the Sentinel matchups, especially because, as we were talking about, if the players have good experience on multiple maps, like, and very comfortable with the same map, then that leads to a change in how you play things. You don't always want to go immediately with your meta picks because, you know, the meta is good, but if everyone knows how it works, then that's when you want to introduce some of that variability. And so I'd be excited to see that. I don't know if we'll see that on as much on Sunset. Probably going to see a little bit more standard, but as we said, one can hope, right? Yeah,
we'll probably see some more variations on Bind, I feel like. With, again, that it's going to be an interesting match to watch with both teams having their specialties into that map and both being one of their favorites. I mean, we're going to have to see some varieties with that, or else I think we're going to lose some of that balance between it.
Yeah. As we were talking about, you know, good plan going into another good plan doesn't really work out in your favor most of the time because, I mean, especially with going against defense, Boise State starting an attack, I mean, has always been really good for them, right? Like, they've been having a lot of just solid plays on that. They've been able to play a lot faster and just really create a lot of space. They're very good at it, but I think, you know, it'll be interesting to see when they get to go into a team that obviously has a lot of experience with both attack and defense, so they'll be able to get better defense setups. I think that puts Boise State in an interesting position where they might have to slow their play. And it's not that they can't do it, but we don't get to see it a lot, so it'll be really interesting to see how they have to deal with the potential of that. And while we're waiting and getting ready for the match, we also would love to update you on the matches that are going to be coming up throughout our schedule this semester. As you can see, for every week, we've got Rocket League on Monday, Overwatch 2 on Tuesday, Valorant on Wednesday, like we are doing today. Thursday is Smash Bros, and college football is on Fridays. That is happening every week, and you can see the teams that we'll be facing off against as well. So Ohio State is this week, and we've got many more awesome teams to be facing up against for the rest of the semester. So if you're enjoying Valorant and any of our other games, we have streams going on every single night for every single one of these matches, and we're going to be seeing similar colleges too, because Ohio State is tonight for Valorant, but we're going to be facing off against them for Smash Bros tomorrow as well. So yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. We had Smash Bros yesterday for against Hawaii, and that was an interesting match to see for sure.
Yeah, I always enjoy the Smash Bros cast. It's just a fun game to watch competitively. It's really interesting considering just, again, it's pretty different than a lot of the games that we do get to see, but I think it'll be a fun one to see tomorrow, especially against Ohio. We'll get the back-to-back. Like, how do we do in Valorant today? Do we get the win and then another win, or are we going to see a little bit of that? But I'm also just excited to see tonight how Valorant goes overall. I think this will be I think it'll be a tight game. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a pretty tight game. We've had a couple games where Boise State's been able to run away with it a little bit, get some good eco going, and then just kind of beat people in the resource game, but I wouldn't be shocked if that didn't happen tonight.
Yeah, well, the main worry here, I feel like that Boise State's going to have with going on Sunset for the first one is Ohio State's going to have a lot of peaking potential as defense. They're going to have a lot of opportunities to hide kind of and wait for them to show up, and Boise State can take it slow and easy, but even then, like, they can find those opportunities from Ohio State to take their chances and figure out where the spots are.
Yeah, that's something that, like, as a player that's not as competitive is always the worst. Like, angles in general, it is so impressive what people can do with their abilities. Like, I remember the first time I saw someone take a Sage Wall and put it up and get a completely new angle on you. And, I mean, in Valorant, that is devastating, right? Like, in other games, you might have better health, better shields, like, better, like, regen. Doesn't happen in Valorant. It is a quick tap and you're out, and people playing at this skill level, like, they know how to get the highest damage. They're going to be able to get the headshots off. So yeah, you got to watch those angles. And I mean, we've seen a lot of just devastating like losses on a round just due to not peeking the angle. We've also seen a lot of funny things where people just get to crouch around a corner and you watch as someone comes around and doesn't notice you, and you're like, I can sit here for a couple seconds.
Yeah, well, it's hard because you get stuck in some of those traps. And like you get to points where you're like, okay, am I going to move in? Am I going to try something here? Or like it just kind of depends.
Yeah, no, I think it's so funny too, because like you can kind of zero in too. Like you'll just start focusing on just what you're doing and forget, wait, I need to peek this angle. Like I need to check, is this going to be a bad idea? And like, when people choose to hide in weird spots that they normally wouldn't, that also throws it off. So you'll be used to checking one specific spot because that's just the general place that people tend to hide, and they'll be the opposite direction, or they'll be hiding somewhere else. Granted, I've seen a lot of that happen because someone was like, I need to run away and recover, and then someone walks past, no idea they're there, and then they're like, I don't care, man. I'm hiding. This is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, on Bind, we might even see that because now with the strategy set up, we're like each team's probably going to be looking for specific areas of where they're going to be hiding, or where's the next spot we're going to set up, or which route are we going to take, and they could switch it up completely and just be in a completely different spot that they didn't set up for. And I think both teams is going to have a problem with that, of just trying to figure out a nice balance between do we stay for our strategy, or are we going to go off it a little bit and try and mess up the other team and see if they can match it up.
Yeah, and Boise State's been doing that like a little bit with some of the other teams. I think that's always the biggest challenge, like you create so many strategies whenever you're competing in something. You're trying to figure out the best way for your team to combo into other things, but you can't always predict how the other team's going to react. And again, comfortability is like a huge game changer. We talk about like all these like little things that are really important, like economy and like the guns that you pick and the way that you save and communicate with your team. But even just like knowing the confidence level of another team on a map it's crazy how much it changes something in competitive. I mean, like, it's just so interesting to me that someone being more confident just innately can change the strategies up more than a different character even.
Yeah, well, it's the characters are a big difference just because of play time. So like how comfortable they can be with playing that specific character, specific agent. But with maps, I mean, it's a little different just because there's so many strategies involved. You have so many different angles, like we were talking about. You have to check every single angle you're going through, basically. And I mean, all the ones we picked today, like Sunset, especially Sunset and Bind, I mean, there's crazy amounts of angles in each one of those where anyone can peek through. And so to try and figure out like what's the best strategy per angle, I guess, and kind of set up your agents to have go in a line. Kind of, it's gonna be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm just hoping we don't see any like quick like knockout rounds, because those are so sad. Like when a team is like, we're gonna try something new, and then they get instantly shut down, and then they never try something new again. That is always so sad to me, because I'm like, no, wait, but like, just like, yes, once is bad, so maybe change it up a little bit, but don't go straight back to the other strategy. Like, they're gonna expect that, and now you're not gonna do anything cool. We've had a couple times where people like really hard pushed one site, and then they were like, okay, it stopped working, we need to go to the other site, got instantly shut down, and then went back to the other site, and I was like, so sad to watch the just back and forth, and I'm like, no, please.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if we're gonna see that even on Sunset, because I feel like the strategy here for Sunset is going to be kind of trying to play it safe, in the sense of like, this is the first game, you're probably not going to want to go super crazy, and you probably want to set everything up for Bind. I think Bind's going to be the big decider of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams, basically both teams having their favorite right there ready for them is going to be really interesting to see, because both play times on that is probably pretty large, and the strategies are already built up. And so to have that similarity is going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point that I didn't even think about. The idea that Bind being the second match will definitely be that momentum changer. And, the first match will also do a lot, because we'll get to see, like, it will really set the pacing for the next match, who's going to come in with the upper hand. And we're going to get a little bit of a view into what's going to be happening in this round as we're looking at the character picks for both teams. Boise State in red and Ohio in green right now. Looks like that Cypher talk about right with what we're seeing so far. We're seeing some matchups on Omen, Breach. Wow, almost a complete mirror matchup. The only real difference is the second duelist for, well, I guess the only duelist actually on both teams. We've got Raze on one team and Neon on the other, which does not surprise me for Boise State when they like to push in fast, get the Neon out for that.
Yeah, and Omen doesn't surprise me either. I mean, like we were talking about all the peaks, like having Omen set up the smokes there is going to be interesting to see to try and change the difference, but also to have it on defense will be interesting because then you're going to try to force the attackers to one side.
Yeah, always being able to control the information with Omen is really good, and we've also got those information breakers there in Sora, just being able, wait, no, Sova. Sora, that's a Kingdom Hearts character. Sova, anyway. Sova being able to just do a lot of really good information scouting. I mean, Cypher and Sova together are really great for locking down information, so I wouldn't be shocked if we see one of them guarding one side and the other one guarding the other. Whoever goes on Cypher's side is going to have a lot of fun. Since we talked about this, it's a pretty solid map for him. Yeah, and the Breach doesn't surprise me either. I mean, he's just really solid at catching people, you know, off the other side. Like, so many times I've seen, like, just unexpected players get hit by something with Breach.
Yeah, I think Breach is kind of just the decider of, like, okay, where is this going to go in this rest of this match?
It's like, oh, it went through the wall. There's Breach. Okay, here we go.
I think Breach usually starts most instances in, like, in a rush attack. I feel like when you see a Breach come, you're like, okay, this is
all right,
starting.
Here we go. Yeah, time to run. Yeah. No, he's a fun character. Granted, I struggle to remember the difference between him and Brimstone because they look so similar that I'm like, who's who again? Which one is it? Like, I remember when I first saw Breach's character design and people were like, look at him, he's new. I'm like, he's new? Are you sure? Like, I thought that, and I'm like, oh, they're different characters. It also doesn't help that they both start with the letter B for their name, so I was like, I'm never going to remember the difference.
Yeah, and they do have some interesting abilities. I mean, they're similar and not similar in the sense, but a lot of the people who I find playing both. I mean, they switch off pretty well.
Yeah, they fulfill a similar role in slightly different ways. Let's see, we're gonna be hopping into the match. Ohio State versus Boise State, already taking out 2 members of Boise State's team. Wait, no, actually, no, that's Ohio State taking out being taken out already. Boise State really pushing up and getting some space, planting the spike on B site, taking out the defense already. Ohio State's in a bad spot here.
Yeah, Boise State rushed that pretty hard, seeing all the angles up top and on the right there.
Yeah, and with that, now they get to just really comfortably hang out in the hallway here. I mean, they've got a great lockdown on Spike. Took out another member of Ohio State's team in Raze when they attempted to go do a little flank. Now it's all up to Sova and Breach, but yeah, they're gonna get pushed in, get slowed down. Trades go off, and Boise State takes the first round relatively quickly there with the spike.
What do you say, Drone? Ready?
Yeah, with them going rushing B, I mean, that's really interesting just because defense has a hard take there because not only do they have to get there pretty quickly, but they have to make sure which way they're going and kind of find a safe way to get there. I mean, because you have to find the right angle, but not only do you not want to get killed for finding the right angle, so.
Yeah, and it really doesn't help that the hallway at the very front there for any attackers is just such a great spot for them to hide. Like, if they can get Spike in the right area, you're not going to have a fun time. Looks like Boise State is going to try and attempt maybe a similar method, but keeping their options open, getting slowed. The Neon doesn't really want to push up. Omen Smoke going out. Boise State going to take this a little bit slower because Ohio State does not want that happening again.
Yeah, they're trying to use their Omen to push them out to the other side.
Yeah. Camera going up on Ohio State's side. Yeah, just a little bit slow right now from Boise State as they're peeking their angles. Omen trying to get up through middle. Hasn't seen the Breach yet. Breach is sitting in the smoke. Breach more than happy to wait for him here. It's kind of impressive. We've hit a point with no knockouts yet. Both teams really not wanting to peek immediately. Oh, Breach getting a couple shots off. Does not hit the Omen. Omen doing a smoke towards A. Going to do a teleport, and it looks like Boise State got onto B site. Nice takeout of the Cypher. Ooh, Sova out.
Able to rush B, but still have to check everything.
Yep, don't want to just plant callously here. And unfortunately for them, Ohio State is already nearby, not wanting a repeat. They are going to begin the plant. Plant has succeeded. Ohio State much closer than before, ready for the retake, with both teams even 4-4 players.
Ohio State's going to be playing it safe here, trying to find the peak. Oh, or just going right for it, trying to get that smoke angle.
Yeah. Oh, trying to get a trick diffuse off. Boise State not falling for it. Trying to take out a couple members to the right. Getting locked in here. The Omen gets taken out. Boise State losing their Omen. Neon's going to rush in. Takes out the rest of the team. My goodness, Boise State. And with that, second round in their pocket. And the eco begins. Never good when a team can get a couple good rounds in the beginning, and we can already see for Ohio State, looking at their eco, you know, they don't really have a lot to get any shields higher than light, and that's going to be rough going into Boise State with the loadouts that they can accomplish now.
Yeah, we're not seeing much shields on the Ohio State side. But also on Boise State side, we're not seeing a whole lot either, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Skies right now is saving for an off, and that's why we're seeing the Sheriff Light Shield combo. I wouldn't be shocked if it wasn't, but yeah, good takeout there. Oh, Neon ult going out. Boise State trying to really create some space to plant on A here. Neon getting a shock off, doesn't hit anyone, going to push into the site. Sees the rays, gets knocked out. Boise State takes out 2 players. Omen is the last one standing with Spike out. Ohio State able to get a really nice lockdown here with Omen out. They take the round. Yeah, good retake there from Ohio State as Boise State went to push on. They didn't really want to let them gain a lot of momentum there.
Yeah, Ohio State could see them through that A hallway right there, and kind of just planned a little ambush, waiting for them to come out rather than just starting to push them through.
Yeah, that's always a really good thing. I mean, we've seen a couple matches recently where Boise State has managed to get about 5 rounds in a row before getting stopped, but as we can see, Ohio State was like, we're not going to let this go through. We can't let them run away with it when it comes to money or anything, and so now going into it, it's going to be a little bit more fair, but we can see already Boise State picking up 2 knockouts here. Getting the raise in the Omen, which is always going to be really good.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of interesting Cypher traps being played out too in different areas that are usually, I don't know, we see some on the A entrance right there and also some on the B side.
Yeah, really not wanting to get blindsided by A. Boise State pushing up into B side. Neon gets taken out by Breach. Cypher Cage goes out. Going to begin the plant. Nice one enemy there remaining from the Cypher.
Sova's going to try and check the area right there.
Ooh. Yeah, Sova looking for his opportunity, but Boise State's got a great sideline here. Spike goes down. Sova's last player standing gets knocked out. Boise State getting the next round. 3-1. Ohio State putting up a great fight here with defense right now. But Boise State has been having just a really solid time getting nice combos into that B side especially. It's been really nice to them. We can see too, unfortunately that peak there, we were talking about the angles, and that was just a prime example of that happening.
Yeah, they were ready for a push right there, and they just had everything right there prepared from Ohio State.
Yeah. Once again, though, that is just a site, like, from a spike placement position, that is really nice if you can get players, like, checking your sight lines, and we can see that's why Boise State really likes to favor it. But it looks like we're going to look for an A push this time around, going a little bit more up into mid. Both teams kind of locking it down here.
Playing it safe in mid, though. We're not seeing a lot of attackers going into mid or even trying to push really hard.
I feel like Boise State heard me about them going fast a lot of times, and they're like, okay, we'll go fast a couple times, but we're going to go slow, slower than normal. And we can see rotating fully onto A. Cypher kind of locking down the middle area. Ohio State not fully sure where they are yet, which could be devastating here considering how quickly they'd have to rotate onto A. Yeah, just slow and steady wins the race here for Boise State.
Yeah, we see that Omen trying to peek through mid, trying to find the opening to make sure that no one's hiding in mid, ready for them to go A.
Yeah, but they're just, Ohio State not quite sure where they are right now, I think. They know the preference for B site, but Boise State not there. The Omen smoke goes out. Boise State is going to push in. Paranoia thrown out. Neon takes the middle area. Breach goes for the plant, taking out the Breach. That was the only member of Ohio State who is nearby, and Ohio State beginning the retake rotation. But Boise State already locking down the site.
Yeah, Boise State recognizes their rotation and it's kind of waiting for them to get peak right there. You see this raise right here.
Cypher Cage taken out. Ohio State knows not to go down immediately, but can't do much about it yet. They know that there are deadly sightlines here. Trying to get information. Boise State just denying them on the angles. And Shells goes out. Neon is out. Boise State forced to pull back a little bit. More gets taken out. A lot of util used here. Boise State down to 2 members. Diffuse goes off, but they're able to defend it. With 1 player left on Ohio State, they knock it out and take the next round. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, Ohio State tried to make that push onto A, but just couldn't get past that midpoint corner right there.
Yeah, they had a lot of really good momentum when they were able to take out a couple of the players taking down the left side of A, but just once again, it was really locked down well by the Omen and Cypher, so weren't able to do much in that regard. Let's see, yeah, looking back, again, Boise State just kind of having a good hold of the eco here. I mean, 2 ultimates, 2 in their corner. Ohio State, not so much, but they're getting close. Throw out a Cypher Cage already, trying to get some good information on A side. Maybe try to bait them out. See, Sova tries to throw out the bolt. Shock bolt there.
We've seen Boise State try to go mid, but they're going to try and rotate back to A.
Yeah, they begin the rotation. Neon gets taken out. Trying to look for some angles, but Ohio State able to get out relatively unscathed. Sova looking pretty low, though.
Well, Ohio State's having a problem right here, trying to peek through that Omen smoke right there, but just can't find the angle right to try and see who's coming through A.
Yeah, gonna slow it down a little bit again. Cyber Cage out. Yeah, just holding down these sight lines here. Cypher's just gonna hold it down, and it looks like Boise State's gonna move over to rotate to B. Gonna see a B plant, able to kind of skirt around those Cypher Cages there, which will be nice for them, or the Cypher traps.
You're going to try and use Sova to try and peek out and see where people are going to go.
Oh, taking out the traps. They're going to begin the plant.
30 seconds left.
Getting a solid look, trying to check their angles, but Ohio State is not there.
Spike down B.
Hunter's Fury out, taking out Reach on. Now with the plant, Ohio State has to be really careful about how they push here. The Paranoia's out. However, still able to take out 2 members, teleports back, gets a 3rd. Wow, nice job there from Skies. He was so lucky that they didn't take a look to the left when he was blinded there. My goodness.
Yeah, Skies was ready right there, ready for them to come out. Even with, I mean, the smoke there kind of helped him even with just having the ability to wait for them to peek out and got the chance and took it.
Yeah, that Paranoia for a moment there, just kind of delaying his shots. You're right, that did give him the second there. This is what we were talking about, angles. Watch those angles if you know that there are people there. Never want to be the person who gets shot in the back on retake. See, Boise State already staying pretty versatile right now. Spike on A side, but they're going to push up a little bit here into mid. Ohio State pushing much more farther forward than they had been previously. Looks like Omen and Cypher might be going on a little trip to flank around side here. They know that Boise State isn't quite going to be yet. Boise State kind of locked in here. Players getting taken out.
I know exactly.
Manages to get a good trade. The neural theft, though, revealing the positions of Ohio State here for Boise State.
Yeah, well, now we're seeing Ohio State figure out that they're not going B. Rather try and turn over to A.
And they can see that, and we can see the quick rotation coming off of that too. Boise State does not want to get caught unawares. They're going to begin the plant. Ohio State looking for their opportunity to move, but again, good sight lines here already for Boise State. Cypher, yeah, Cypher moving towards them. Reach and Omen, little
Omen's
apprehensive
ready,
to move. Yeah.
Getting ready for the peak right there on the left.
Oh, Hunter's Fury beginning. They're trying to take out Ohio State. Ohio State gets knocked out. 2 members of the team are down. It is just Cypher on his lonesome. With that, Boise State is able to take another round, 6-1, preventing Ohio State from really ever gaining the momentum right now. Yeah, we can also see that just kind of reflected in the eco once again. I mean, It's kind of similar position to what we've seen. Boise State pretty comfortable with full buying whatever they really want to at this point.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot more pistol rounds, I feel like, coming from Ohio State.
Yeah, which is always unfortunate because trying to get good pistol rounds, especially around this time, not easy to do, but they're gonna do a full saving round here because, well, if they can give them the opportunity to compete next time, that's what you want to do. Cypher out. See, yeah, once again, Ohio State playing much farther up on A right now. They're trying to look for reactive moments here. However, they're going to get taken out. Ray's gone. And Breach definitely not wanting to peek that as much again. Boise State is going to react to that and rotate to B side, noticing that no one is there right now. At least no one is close. And Ohio State starting to notice where they might be going. He's going to join them.
Cypher tossing up his cage right there is going to give Boise State a good advantage.
Yeah, nice little block there for a little bit. Might even trick them to wonder where they're going. Gonna try and get some information out. Neon's gonna push out. Try and create some space for the team. Gonna go around the angle with the smoke down. Ohio State does not want to push in here, and they're able to get the plant. With that, they're gonna just be able to kind of sit here, check their lines, know that no one's directly behind the smoke right now, and well, they get to go chill in the hallway.
Ohio State's going to try and take the top advantage if you're trying to peek around that pillar.
Oh, tries to get the paranoia out. Good dodge from Omen there. Did not want to get hit by that ability. They're going to try and attempt the defuse. Not going to commit to it. They get the neon. Ohio State beginning their defuse. Another member taken out on Ohio's side. 3-3 right now. They push in. Remaining. Two of them get taken out. And once again, Cypher all his lonesome, trying to figure out what best to do. Boise State pops out of the smoke and takes out the final member of Ohio State's team.
Yeah, we could hear Omen just watching and listening for that defuse sound, just waiting for the right moment to attack.
Yeah, he's like, I know where the angle is, so I'm going to be able to take that out perfectly. We see right there, yeah, he knew. They had it tagged and everything. And when they tried to go through the smoke, they just weren't quite ready for where Boise State was going to be waiting. And with that, yeah, just pop out of the smoke, take them out.
Drop.
With that, Boise State 7-1, a 6-round gap. Never a fun feeling in Valorant.
We're going to see less of an eco round from Ohio State and some more assault rifles.
Yep. Oh, but Boise State's going straight in with the overdrive, getting two members of Ohio State right off the bat. Doesn't feel good when we just talked about eco here. They're going to try and get by, but it doesn't really do much for them. Boise State really pushing up to mid here, but they're going to rotate back to A. Well, actually back to B. Kind of the comfort pick right now, but it's working really well for him.
He's got some interesting sights for Boise State, so they can peek around different ways. Using those paranoia smokes have been helping them a lot.
Ooh, Neon gets taken out. Boise State losing the duelist. They're able to push up a little bit, try and begin the plant. Take out the Sova. Cypher's gonna push up, try and take out the breach. Gets knocked out. Spike carrier is down, but they're able to recover that pretty easily with Cypher, again, being all on his own. Poor Cypher. I mean, once you kind of hit that point where you're on a retake, Cypher doesn't have really anything that's going to do great for them. And we can see Ohio State wanting to cut off some of the momentum here. Going to begin a timeout before the next round. Kind of regroup, recollect their thoughts. Don't blame them. I mean, it's always good, as we talked about, to just take some time to communicate the strategies. And with that, Boise State also gets some time for that, but they've been seeming pretty comfortable this entire match so far.
Yeah, we've seen some strong plays by Boise State, making sure all those angles are set and really relying strong on Omen with some of the smokes there and using that paranoia to push them further in to get those advantages in mid or even on B site. Like, I think that's where we're seeing the strongest. Yeah,
Omen's an interesting character. I don't think we get to see as much like Omen gameplay as we have in this like match especially, which I've been really liking because I think he's a very unique controller, and we get to see a nice little highlight once again of that just really fun paranoia shot there. Paranoia goes out, he gets blinded, but it gives him the opportunity to take out two members. He teleports to safety, turns, flicks to his right, and then the other Omen is right there waiting. But we've just talked a little bit about it, but that's just some of the power of Omen from both sides. I mean, Paranoia is a really good blind, just cutting off the ability for people to see in the smokes with the way that they can be placed. Also great for cutting off sightlines, and I don't know, the Omen teleport, very helpful ability just to be able to go, I don't want to be here anymore. And we saw a couple good saves on ultimates where if you had been anyone but Omen, you would have been gone. So it's a great pair to have. Getting right back into the match. Boise State not gonna hard focus on A as much right now. Gonna push in through Market here. Going to activate, takes out the Cypher. Those were some nasty blinds there from Breach for Neon to be able to capitalize on. Boise State now gaining great control of B here and beginning the plant.
There.
Yeah, we saw Neon just trying to rush it right through, trying to see where people were and taking that chance to try and take that space from them.
Great communication point. Boise State gonna get some trades. Not gonna be the best for them as it's gonna bring them 3-2,
remaining.
losing Cypher and Sova and Neon here. Neon taken out. Raze is the last member of the team left. Gonna send out Boombot. Boombot gets shot immediately. With the plant here, Raze does not have a lot of time left. Clock is ticking down. Raze is gonna move into B site. Breach going around. Kind of gonna get flanked by both sides. Goes for the fake defuse, takes out the Omen. It's 1-1 now. Gonna attempt the defuse, but Breach is gonna get him.
Yeah, Raze had a hard time there, just trying to, being the last person left, and especially on B side, to try and check all angles is hard. As one person to be able to be like, okay, are they on the left, or where are they gonna be, and where's this going?
There's not a lot of great opportunities too, especially like with where we were in the countdown. You know, Boise State, we could see like Raze did not have a lot of time to do a lot of like messing around with that. Like couldn't really like stall out. You got one fake defuse off, which was a really good one there. And we can see just going back too, they just didn't get a lot of time to react. I mean, Boise State, crazy blind there, knocking out 2 players immediately because Neon's able to get just like 2 beautiful shots off.
Yeah, we've been seeing Neon rush a lot, just going right in for the kill, trying to see where they're all at, and once they find where they're all at, just taking the chances and having those firefights.
Yeah, that's why having communication is so important in this game. I mean, if you're a duelist, you're really hoping that your initiators are getting their blinds off the way that they should be, and we can see that was a great example of that happening. Now back into the match, it's 9-1, Boise State. Again, you know, looking like they're gonna mix it up a little bit if possible, going towards A site here with the spike. Maybe gonna try and trick them into thinking they're going B site, putting some smokes down that way. Try and get some information on who's where.
We've seen Cypher play it safe though on A, trying to play down some clouds and some spikes just to make sure that traps are set and ready for them.
Yeah. Raze taking out the Sova. Used an ult on that. Ohio State got plenty to spare, but they want to be careful with it. Now we've got Boise State planting on A. They were able to clear out the site. Cypher and the rest of his team had to push back. Cypher out. Neural theft going up. Boise State about to get some really good information. Seeing where everyone is, Neon is taken out, but Cypher is able to trade that back. We're now 2-2 on both sides. Skies is attempting to begin the plant, gets it through, gets slowed by Breach, but he's going to teleport up to a nice little peak spot here. Nice shot from Master there, takes out the Breach. Now it's Omen versus Cypher, and Omen takes out both players. Ohio State able to get some really good shots off, and is going to be able to get the defuse, bringing their score up 2-9.
Yeah, Omen really checked those spots, tried to do some fake peeks, make sure the area was at least safe to go in and check the hallway.
You know, I really thought that the angle, you know, top left of A was going to be just kind of dangerous, but he knew exactly where Omen wanted to hang out there. I mean, he was an Omen player, you'd hope, right? And so able to take out, getting some much needed stopping power there for Ohio State. Getting any round is great. Now the question is, will they be able to get another round in succession?
Yeah, well, I think Ohio State here, I mean, they're going to have to make some interesting plays and try and listen hard for those, I mean, even footprints. I mean, it sounds funny, but to listen to where they're at and try and find those peaks.
As Neon activating overdrive again, just going to try and push in, take space for Boise State, getting up onto A site. Ohio State is familiar with this one though. They're going to back off. They do not want to be taken out by the Neon right now. Going to begin the plant, but have not taken out any members of Ohio State this time, so they're ready for the retake here. Try and begin the retake. All angles being watched. Boombot goes out. Neon's able to take it out before it deals any damage. Raze looking for an opportunity to come back. Cypher hiding around the corner doesn't get taken out until a little bit later. Ohio State now down to 2 players with Boise State at 4.
You see a Cypher trying to make that peak a little easier for him.
And he's able to make it pretty good as they're able to take out the final member. Boise State halting that potential momentum change before it can really get started and hitting 10 rounds. With that, we're also going to switch sides. Now going to see maybe if a little bit of a shakeup could do some good. But with Boise State already at 10 points, that's not a lot of time to warm up in your new position.
Yeah, but now with pistol round, I mean, this could change things. Pistol round gets pretty interesting with everything because it's completely eco. I mean, the only thing you really have a chance for is trying to find those new areas to peek from with like different kinds of pistols. You gotta keep it interesting.
Yeah, both teams going to have to reset with their resources. That's why we saw so much going on last round. We're going to get right into it to see how Ohio State reacts now being on the attacking side and Boise State on defensive. You can see Ohio State moving up through mid, taking a little bit of a page out of what Boise State was doing earlier, trying to sneak on through, staying very quiet. Boise State not quite sure where they are yet, sees the Omen. We can see Neon and Omen chasing the Omen down. That's going to be interesting to go through. Boise State gets taken out. Neon and Omen out. Ohio State able to gain a huge advantage here from that. Boise State, knowing that a lot of them are near B site, though, are going to start rotating that way.
So we're going to see a large attack here on B site, just trying to hit through the smoke, but also making sure every angle is checked right there.
remaining.
Wow.
Spike down B.
Boise State doesn't really have many issues with that, though, with some accurate shots taking out everyone but Raze. Raze now trying to sit on the best spot they can, but they get taken out too, and Boise State is able to take the first round of defense.
Yeah, Ohio State just had a hard time there trying to find the nice area for them to go through. I mean, we could see them trying to attempt to try and rush right in, but Boise State, they're just ready for him.
Yeah, Breach was very calm there, looking at his angles for where he could knock out some players, and we were able to say just some really just unfortunate, like, aim difference there of, like, where people were looking at the time, which, you know, is such a big thing in Valorant. It's one thing that can always take you out is just if you happen to be looking the wrong direction or guess wrong where someone is. We can see that very much so in this last round. Ohio State going to try again, going through mid. Boise State a little bit more wary of it this time. 3 people watching that middle section here. Watching where they're going. Staying back though. I mean, they're on defense. They can stay as comfortable as they want. Paint shells go through, but nothing really spotted through that. Now just kind of hanging out, you know?
I think we're going to see Ohio State try and go A here. I mean, we're trying to see which way they're going to peak, making sure Boise State is not trying to go through mid there.
Owl drone out, getting great information on the Neon, and with that, Ohio State gains a lot of space. Gonna push up towards A site, like you said. Boombot goes out. Information starting to try and be gathered here. Now they're gonna kind of go back. It actually looks like they might be thinking about not pushing up so fast here and looking for a new angle.
Yeah, still trying to trick out and see, make sure that Boise State thinks they're going A, but
30 seconds left.
Yeah, we can see, wow, they're gonna go all the way up towards spawn, taking out multiple members of Boise State. Prestige getting pushed back, having to go all the way back to spawn here. Ohio State has decided, you know, who needs to plant spike? We're just gonna take out the other players.
1 enemy remaining.
Fortunately,
10
it doesn't
seconds
fully
left.
work out for them yet. 1 player left on Ohio State's side gets taken out before they're able to even complete the plant. That was interesting.
that was interesting. Ohio State didn't really go for the plan. I mean, they did it first trying to go A there, but then just understanding that Boise State was kind of near mid and being like, okay, let's just go through mid and try and get them through there and trying to push them back through spawn.
I thought it was funny watching Breach's perspective because you could see him go, no, back, stay back. Why are you coming up this far? This is spawn, man. But, you know, I think just not planting as fast as they did really was the killer there. And with that, Boise State is on match point, which not where you want to be right now. You can already see the firefight beginning. Both players we're getting a trade on both sides here. Ohio State sitting in the middle, trying to look for an opportunity. They're going to try and push forward. Skies is going to take out the Cypher. With the rotation, they take out an Omen as well.
Boise State,
One enemy remaining.
just getting lined up, and there it is.
And with that, Boise
Defenders
State
win.
takes the first map of this match tonight. Very interesting, I think, to just kind of see the different strategies of the teams on these different areas. I mean, kind of what we were expecting with Boise State, a lot of really good space taking, quickly doing it as fast as possible. I mean, especially with the Neon, the goal was just, as she says, go, go, go. So I think that was interesting. I thought it was interesting watching Ohio State go through mid so much. I was starting to wonder if that was going to hurt them, and then, of course, like, during that match point, we saw Boise State knew exactly where they were.
Well, yeah, the problem with Ohio State going through mid so much, I mean, with your duelist being Neon, I mean, having that speed and having that rush ability is kind of crazy for Boise State to have in this circumstance, especially on Sunset with a lot of that open space to have Ohio State just go through mid and try and go through B is a little hard to try and get through, especially with Sova having that ability to basically figure out where everyone is.
Yeah, I mean, you have your Sova, like, pull out the arrow, shoot your recon, and then Neon's like, all right, I know exactly where they are. You can slide in. I mean, the slide's also just really good. Moves your hitbox, changes up where you are. And, I mean, if you know the angles, as we saw multiple times, those angles are really dangerous if you let any of the duelists get in. And I mean, we saw some really good Omen gameplay just in general from both sides of the map, just being able to kind of shut down some of those rushes at sometimes. Like, Ohio State really did not want Neon getting through, and they were able to lock it down. With that, Boise State takes the first map. Now on to Bind, the one we've talked about quite a bit at this point. And I think it'll be very interesting now that we're familiar with each other. You know, we've gotten a little bit of an idea of how the strategies are going to work.
Well,
what that might end up being.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Bind, if like Boise State now being attacker, if they're gonna try and rush it more and pick who the duelist is gonna be for that rush. I mean, that's gonna be pretty strong here if they can find their moments of attack to. Where Ohio State may not even prepare for, that's going to be strong on Bind, especially, again, with both teams having those strong abilities on this.
Yeah, and we're going to check out, like, as we've been talking about, we're going to check the replays a little bit, just see a little bit more about what's going on in the matches. We were talking about Omen, we were talking about some of those fast plays. I believe this is when Neon gets taken out, yep. Which was things that Ohio State were very wary of. They knew the Neon was there, and they're like, we're not letting this happen. But with that, Boise State really able to just solidly lock down Site B here, take out the Omen, take out the Cypher there, and get that spike plant down. And then we're going to see our favorite Omen clip so far, the Paranoia stall, which was the opposing team doing that, but unfortunately ended up working out in Boise State's favor there.
Yeah, well, and the interesting thing when we saw that first Neon kill with the duelist trying to go through, with Neon dying there, Boise State had the chance to see where everyone was because then they saw where Neon had died, and so to have that ability to figure out where everyone is really strong for them.
Yeah, I mean, even a death in Valorant is a piece of information because, you know, someone had to do it, so now you know where they probably are based on bullet spray, which is something we could see here, too, with the smoke. You know, Breach went through, he had no idea where Omen was, and then Sola had a better idea because he could see where Breach had been taken out, but Omen was ready and waiting for him, and so he wasn't able to do much in that just area. Now this is the really fun Neon clip where Neon doesn't get taken out instantly. We're talking about, you know, a lot of really good communication among teams. We can see Sova trying to get some information. Neon gets the confirmation that it's clear. He pushes through. The Breach ability goes out. So does Omen's Paranoia. And just due to the blinds, Neon was able to get some really nice, two people for, like, not even fully trading is what you always want.
Yeah, that was some great communication there. Just making sure Sova had everything set up and lined for Neon there was perfect.
Yeah, that's something I really enjoy about the competitive Valorant scene is like those combos that we get. You know, any character that can set up other characters really effectively, like Omen with a Paranoia or Smoke, just so your duelist can run in and cause as much chaos and havoc as possible is always so important, and I think it's really fun whenever we get to see that in full display. I mean, we were talking about it, the smoke's right there, able to really cut off the sight lines, breach, being able to shoot through the walls, get some really good picks off, always really powerful there. And also just, you know, good accuracy too.
Yeah, having a duelist on your team, especially one that works with good communication on every other player, and having the ability to set up your duelist in good spots to just kind of rush in and figure out where everyone is really strong. And I think we've seen that a lot tonight with Boise State.
Yeah, this was, that was that rough defense that we saw there. It was just a really hard spot. The Omen does get taken out here. Ohio State started with, I think, all of their members, if I remember correctly, but they weren't really able to do much because the sight line there was just so well set up by Boise State. They were just completely taken out. And this is the match point. We were talking about that one as well. Unfortunately, with this match point here, they let, you know, the Neon got really far up, gave them good information. They saw and were able to take out a couple members. They did some trades here, but once again, just being boxed in that open space. You know, it's funny, I say boxed in an open space, but like, it's a very boxy area that has a lot of, unfortunately, good sight lines for the defenders and not so many for you. And so being kind of stuck in there as the attackers with, you know, your opponents all on the other side, not a good place to be.
Well, yeah, to go through mid, it's kind of interesting because you have to check 3 angles, 3 sides, and you probably have multiple people on each angle. So you're having to not only use your smokes for your ability, but also to make sure and check what's going on each side.
Yeah, and we saw some, you know, effective middle play, but, you know, if you do it too many times, it won't end well. But we'll get to see what strategies come up now as we move on to the second game of the night. We're going to be hanging out on Bind, and we're going to see a little bit of the shakeup of the matchup today. You know, seeing some characters. We were talking about this character, and now he's here. Gecko is out, but we're seeing quite a shakeup for a lot of the other characters. We're going to get some Deadlock. We're going to see Fade. That'll be fun. I haven't seen Fade show up in a while. Going to get the oh so classic Raze. She's got some really solid just power on this map with the way that it is set up, and excited to see Sky as well. Sky is such a fun initiator.
I think Gecko also has a lot of power, especially having the ability to just kind of wait for things to happen and use all of his abilities for the betterment of his team.
Yeah, he has a lot of really good sightlines to throw Dizzy on this map, so it's a great map for Dizzy, and I mean, Wingman is king, you know, for any spike, and anytime you need to create that space, you know, you've got Thrash, and Thrash will really do well. You know, something I was talking about that I thought was interesting is, you know, having Skies and Gecko together, you kind of get that good push potential from an ultimate and an ability, because Sky's ability to use Trailblazer also great effect to that. So having your 2 initiators, great for information. It'll be a fun match to see as we get into it, because we've been talking about Bind. The other thing we haven't talked about Bind actually is the portal, which is another fun sightline. And also, you know, depending on, you know, what characters are playing, some ultimates going through are the most deadly thing. I remember seeing Raze's Showstopper. You know, someone ultimated through the portal, and they got a kill off of that. And I was like, I don't know how you knew, because I didn't check to see if you got information, but I salute that. That was crazy.
Some of the portal plays will be interesting, especially both attackers and defense trying to find those different angles with the portals. I mean, there's some ones that get pretty intense, especially attacker having to go through spawn pretty near.
Yeah, good rotation areas. Also, really dangerous areas to be caught. Gives good opportunity for the defenders to maybe get the jump on you. It's always good for rotations as well if you need it. This is a very interesting map for rotations as well, because it's just kind of a weird setup comparatively. It's not very like easy to just quickly go around, so we're going to see a lot of interesting spots. I'm excited to see some of these characters here just kind of get to show off their best as we get into the first round. Boise State on attack, Ohio State on defense. Moving up, both teams taking a little bit slower right now, though Rihanna and Deadlock is just going to push all the way up into B short here. Watching the portal, not seeing any action yet. This is going to be very interesting. think we've got 2 members of Ohio State watching that sight line. Do not peek there. You're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, that sideline gets pretty intense with having attackers have to go through it to try and make sure that you can see the angle, but also not risk getting killed just like that.
As we saw, taken out. Dizzy's going to go out. The plant is going to begin. Wingman doing what he does best. Ohio State's Gecko is going to get pushed back. Going to try and throw out Wingman. He's going to get taken out.
Last player standing.
Now it's just Boise State, though, gets fully taken out here. And so they're going to get the defuse, getting the first match of the round. Or I guess the first round of the match. There we go. I mixed it up. Which is a great spot for Ohio State coming off of Boise State taking the entire game last time.
Yeah, I think what we're going to be seeing, I mean, we just saw it in the first match right here, but also taking it slow. I mean, trying to make sure all angles are seen, while also having the advantage of some of those different spots they can find where people maybe aren't like at, like Ohio State, trying to peek through B, or even try and find some of those portal spots that work best for them.
Yeah. With that, Boise State has to go into a save round. Haven't had to do that in a while. They're going to try and gain some information going into showers. Portal's going to go through. Fade activating some abilities. Just going to chill in shower right now. Ohio State able to react if they want. Rays coming from the other side. Going to get knocked out by the opposing Rays. Ohio State able to take the first kill here. Boise State having to rethink their strategy a little bit. Going to take the Sheriff off of the Rays. And try... Not able to see anything. The spike carrier is now down. 2 more players from Boise State taken out. With 1 player on Ohio State taken out, Boise State down to 2 members, Deadlock and Sky. Going to be an interesting retake here as the spike is down in showers and Ohio State has control.
Showers is a hard play here because on Boise State's side, they can't really get a good angle to try and peek through. But so Ohio State's got a pretty good advantage here.
We can see, looking for the sideline player, tries, isn't able to get the shot off on Viper. And with that, Boise State loses the second round to Ohio State on bind. Starting to warm up a little bit. Ohio State able to really lock down their defense on this map.
Yeah, Ohio State was ready for them to come through shower. I mean, having most of it set up on A, just waiting for them to peek out.
Yeah, and it's never a good feeling when your spike carrier dies so far up that there's not a lot that you can do to really safely retake that spike. I mean, it forces a complete change of the game because that spike is everything, and so you lose it, and now you're forced to play around it. Boise State going to change up their strategy a little bit, going to try and push up. Viper's going to try and block the sightline. Dizzy goes out, not going to hit anyone, and now Raze is out. Going to take out Viper and Fade. With that, Gecko's going to get the ult point. Boise State going to slow it down a little bit here. Ohio State beginning the rotate. Sky going to heal everyone before Boise State considers pushing up. Trailblazer goes out to gain some information. They don't see anyone on B. Smokes go out. Debating, it looks like we're going to rotate to A. Going to try and go for a surprise as Thrash goes out. Going to create some space here. Smokes going down. Boise State pushing into A site. Ohio State here and ready, but the smokes are really creating a bad field of visibility. Spike is down, however. Boise State really having some unfortunate luck in showers with Spike. Going to look for the rotate. Ray Rihanna taking out the Rays.
1 enemy
takes
remaining.
out Breach. Now 1 enemy left. Gecko sitting up top right now. Very low health, not a lot of space.
Yeah, Ohio State trying to find their opening right here, playing it safe, trying not to try and get all the way in.
Boise State, Deadlock and Brimstone, kind of just chilling here. They've got the time to wait. Gecko tries to peek, but Brimstone's able to take him out, and Boise State takes their first win. Now we did see this last match though, where we did see a quick attempt at a round, and then the team immediately taking back that momentum, denying the potential. So I'll be curious to see if Ohio State does the same thing here with Boise State, if they're able to try and prevent that. Boise State going to try and buy up a little bit here because they want this momentum, so we'll have to see which team's able to pull that off.
Yeah, I think we might see some more risky plays here, but again, I think like risky plays here and having them like have these new abilities and to have more playtime here will be interesting.
Yeah, I think, this is the opportunity for Boise State to push through, right? And for Ohio State, this is their like chance to lock it down. And we were talking about having good strategies, like both having plans and that adding some variability, which I think we've already been seeing a little bit. I mean, both teams have kind of been going, like starting to execute a plan and then going, no, and backing off. And so I wouldn't be shocked if we do see a little bit of that here where both teams are kind of like, we got to go all out here as much as we can, try to be as safe as possible, but at the end of the day, if you don't get the round, that's going to be pretty bad for you going forward, and both teams know that.
Yeah, we saw playing safe Ohio State, trying to find their openings there in mid, and also just trying to take it slow. But Boise State just trying to fight that back.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if Boise State, continues with showers. I mean, we've seen some unfortunate luck there for their spike carriers specifically. I think that's the quickest spike down I've heard in a succession in a match recently. But, showers is both really good and really bad. If you can get through showers, it's a great through line to where you want to be planting on that side. But if you don't get out of showers, you're kind of locked in. And I've seen plenty of times where a team will go into showers and then suddenly you've got one opposing team on one, player on one side and another one on the other side, and you're just kind of stuck there at that point.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they lost the spike in the showers, but it was so far up in the point like you were talking about where Ohio State had that ability to just kind of wait it out.
Yeah, when you're on defense, why do anything but that, right? Your goal is to wait out the opposing team, prevent them from planting their spike or taking all of you out. And so why push up into unknown territory, especially if you're able to take out the spike? Now you just get to sit there comfortably, put your foot up on it if you want, and who's going to stop you?
Yeah, I mean, with Ohio State just having some of those plays where they were trying to play it safe, but it was a little too safe at some points, and just not taking that leap to rush in was really interesting to see. Because having that defense against showers was really strong, especially with Boise State trying to rotate back. We saw that, and having that prepared and ready for them just to peek on by, even with the smoke there, just didn't have the ability. For Boise State to get out and try and make that plant. Yeah,
they couldn't really break through like they wanted to, and that ended up being devastating for them. I've been enjoying seeing some of the Gecko gameplay throughout these matches, though, too. Something that we see a lot of Gecko, but I rarely see his abilities fully go off because it's almost always in the chaos of other things. But we've seen Dizzy, we've seen Wingman. I think one of my favorite things is when we actually get to see Wingman plant. You'll see him run off with the spike. You'll see, he's doing something, but then everyone turns around and then you're like, no, my boy, I just want to see him do it. But I was also just impressed seeing Boise State's Gecko use Dizzy, Wingman, and then Thrash in one of the fastest successions I've ever seen. Just immediately boom, we're going to push out as fast as we possibly can. And I think it's been fun to see all of his abilities in play with that. And also just more of the Brimstone as well. We were talking about the Brimstone versus Breach. We got to see some Breach. Now we're getting to see some Brimstone. And those smokes have been super invaluable for Boise State and for Ohio State so far.
Yeah, I mean, Brimstone having the smokes abilities and to basically hide different areas of where they could be, or even change where they could end up at. I mean, pushing them to different areas, making them rotate, and trying to find that extra area where they can actually attack them from and have that ambush ready for them, and using the smokes to push.
Yeah. I also think they're a very unique smoke for a competitive situation. Being able to go in, having a little mini map that you have to quickly select where you want the smoke to go is a very interesting thing that I think it's really, I don't know, whenever I've played Brimstone, I've been a little thrown off by that, but such an invaluable opportunity there, and we could see it kind of in this replay where they were able to lock down some areas. It's what resulted in Gecko being the last man standing there on that really good spike placement for Boise State.
Yeah, with Boise State there, we saw the Brimstone just kind of set up and kind of wait for the peaks to come out. And just kind of having that it's tense, but at the same time you have to find the momentum of waiting to find the peak, and when the other team is trying to make that attack a little bit more harder.
Yeah, and we also just had Gecko had the unfortunate thing of having to deal with both a dead shot. Wait, no, not dead shot. What? Just two Sentinels there in, well, I guess Deadlock and Brimstone together. Just not a fun combo. But we're gonna get right back into the match. 2-1 on both sides here. Boombot going out from Ohio State. Boise State already pushing up into A. Looks like we're in the showers once again. Getting ready to go. Trailblazer gonna get out, gonna gain some information, see where they are.
Ultimate
See,
ready.
Ohio State and Boise State, both teams now, no kills taken yet. Debating a rotate here. Ray Rihanna's gonna stay in showers. Maybe look for some opportunities.
Go get him.
Gonna capture an orb. Boombot goes out again. Viper Wall goes up.
Yeah, Ray's trying to check where they are, trying to see the angles, trying to make sure where some of the shots might be coming from.
Wingman's gonna plant spike.
Wingman going to plant spike. Boise State going into A. They are committing to this spot.
Spike's
Able to
taken.
take
Thanks to the
out
man.
Fade here. Now gonna hold down the site. Lamps is where Skies is gonna be taken out. Gecko gonna hold the point here. Ohio State not moving up immediately. Oh, takes out the Rays though. Ohio State able to even it up a little bit here.
My rules. I
Oh.
have them now.
Ultimate gonna go out from a deadlock here. Gonna be knocked out. Ray Rihanna gone. Now 2-3 here. Ohio State starting to hold
Last
down the
player
point.
standing.
Able to take out two more members of Boise State and able to take the spike for defuse.
Yeah, Brimstone just having a hard angle there to really peek from, and trying to find Ohio State's momentum as they're trying to take that defuse was really hard for Boise State to get.
Yeah, going into the next round. Boise State getting a taste of the lower eco that Ohio State was feeling all last time. Ohio State getting to sit a lot more comfortably here. You can see, yeah, just getting some setups.
Yeah, we have full shields, and it's gonna be an interesting match to see. We have a lot more pistols on Boise State side.
Yeah, all right, starting the
No
match.
mistake.
Boise State looking for a little bit more B-side this time around. Trailblazer going to go out to try and gain some information, able to see some players, but Viper's going to try and block them out with a poison wall. Gonna jump through the decay, very brave. Throw out some abilities, going full in here. Boise State pushing up, taken out two players. The plant is going to begin. Viper is
Last
out.
player standing.
Weeman gets the spike down.
Taken out.
Sky is the
Miles
last
ready.
player left against 3 people. Guiding Light's gonna go out, going to not get the blind off, tries to go for the smoke, but is knocked out, giving Ohio State plenty of time for the defuse.
Yeah, Boise State coming through that window there was just having a hard time with Ohio State just having the smokes ready and also having that poison wall just set up. So it was they had little to no chance to try and get through and find the momentum to get the peak.
Yeah, it's just a rough side to deal with Viper. I mean, Viper being so good at locking down B-side with good walls and good opportunities. I mean, once they have their ult, which they do, it's a great space for them to activate it. I would not be shocked if we see it come out soon.
Yeah, we're seeing 3 ults from Ohio State side. That'll be interesting to see because we only got 1 on Boise State.
Yeah, never a good time if you're the opposing team with that spread, especially too, because we've got Thrash, we've got Poison. I mean, it's never a good combo. You're gonna get pushed into the Poison if you're not careful
Blinded.
there. Boise State maybe choosing to go towards A, looking for some bait opportunity. Not gonna be able to bait out Ohio State. They're gonna look for their opportunity, going through showers. So Boise State slowly creeping up on B. We've got Rays checking out long right now. The wall is up. Toxic screen trying to block out sight.
Ray's got to play it safe here. Make sure checking all the angles and watching that wall right there.
Yeah, holding down the sight line. Knows Viper is probably there. Both of them very carefully looking for their
Throwing net.
opportunities. We're going to push to the other side.
Barrier
Boise State
deployed.
kind of going for a dual push. Trying to take out some players. going to rotate to join the rest of their team as Viper takes out the Raze. Gecko going to go for the spike plant as Wingman begins. Taking out the Viper, giving them some control of the space. Now going to push back.
I've got your trail.
We've got Skies activating Trailblazer now. Not Trailblazer. Activating the Seekers. Seekers are going out. Ohio State kind of trapped in between both of them. Rotating back here, trying to get just back away, check the flanks. Boise State kind of just locking down. Thrash going out from Ohio State's side. They're able to push in, beginning the retake. Avoiding it, they're going to stall for as long as they can on that.
Brimstone holding the smoke there, trying to hold that defuse so no one else can see it coming.
Yeah, but not really able to do much right now. Boise State down to their last member as Ohio State successfully does the retake. Hello, Wingman. We love Wingman just sitting there. That's another thing I really like about Gecko's abilities is how they kind of just sit there on the field and then they follow the players, so they're always staring at you, always watching. And always really effective when you're trying to get a defuse or prevent a spike.
Yeah, to have Wingman plant the spike for you is pretty strong because then
Nice
you can hold the angles on left. We saw Gecko play there. He sent Wingman to plant the spike, but then he checked his left side and he had it prepared to attack right there.
Yeah. There are many not so favorable positions that you can send Wingman into that you normally couldn't send yourself. But we're going to go into a full push here onto A side for Boise State. All the abilities being thrown out. 2 players being taken out by
Last
Raze.
player standing.
Ooh, last player standing already on Boise State's side. Master going to have to rotate back, but the spike is on A side once again. And Ohio State with a full team locking it down.
Yeah, we saw a full death match there, just trying to rush as hard as they could, trying to get the Boise State, trying to get the momentum back, but just couldn't find it. As Ohio State peeking right there, waiting for Master to come right back in. Ohio State having the top angle ready for Master to come right in.
Yeah, not a lot you can do there. I mean, when you're one person peeking 5 people with Spike, once again, that's been kind of the danger of this map for Boise State. Losing Spike, being at, like, just minimum players comparatively is never really going to end well. So I don't blame him for trying, but, you know, those angles are not easy to peek. I mean, that side on A has really good spots for the defender to just kind of sit comfortably.
Yeah, for the defender side, I mean, that's why it's kind of where you can just kind of wait and listen. You're gonna hear those footsteps start to come out of different hallways, even showers. Like you just wait for all the footsteps to show up, and then you can start peeking and checking all the angles to make sure when people are starting to come out.
Yeah, it's got a lot of really good angle spots for the defense. As we can see, Boise State really not able to break through since the last point that they took, giving Ohio just kind of more of that momentum that they really desperately needed in the first map. So we're starting to see a little bit of the inverse of what happened last time.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Ohio State's defense play here. Of yes, playing it safe, but at the same time, making sure everything's safe in the points is that all their teammates have been spread out pretty evenly around each side, and making sure both A and B are covered pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, they've been able to lock it down really well. They've got really good agents for that. I mean, we talked about Viper locking down one side. They've just had some really good shots off on both teams. I mean, their information has been really good, and Boise State is just not been able to keep up with it. We're going to go straight out with ultimates, though. Boise State pulling out Thrash, able to take out the Fade, take out the Sky. We're going to lose Deadlock on Boise State's side, but that's okay. We're going to reclaim Thrash as Wingman plants the spike for Boise State. Beginning the plant there. I love the little small cam as we get to see that go out. Boise State now beginning to lock it down. 2 players left on Ohio State's side, the Gecko and the Viper. Gecko watching for Viper.
One
knows
enemy
she's
remaining.
there, takes him out. And now it's just Gecko all is lonesome on the other side here. Boise State holding with 3 players.
Yeah, Ray's waiting for that Gecko to pop out from any place they can go from.
Yeah, and Gecko gonna do a bit of a rotation, gonna try and sneak around. Goes for the defuse on Wingman. Wingman gets denied. And with that, able to take out the last member of Ohio State and take another round. 6-2, Boise State able to get another win off, which is always a good thing here. And unfortunately for Gecko, once again, all his lonesome trying to take back a much disadvantaged fight there.
Yeah, Gecko going one like by his lonesome. I mean, it's hard with all only the abilities you have left. I mean, those recharges. I mean, you only have so much per match, and so once you go through those and you're getting towards the end, it gets kind of hard to figure out what the next idea is.
Chill out.
Yeah, and with that, Sky's gonna push up really fast. You see jump packs on Ray. Gonna get stopped by the fade in showers, with both teams kind of trying to hold this point. Boise State going for their showers opportunity here.
Yeah, Ray's trying to push him back, trying to push Ohio State back to the end of A.
Now with that, Boise State gonna put out Wingman in the plant. Goes to throw the Dizzy, takes out Fade. With the plant already there, Boise State looking really comfortable. 4-2 here. Nice spot for them to be. And now they're gonna just get to set up a little bit once again as Gecko and Viper. Oh, Dizzy goes out, isn't going to spot anyone. Going to try and get a little bit of area of effect there. Viper goes for a poison, able to push Sky back a little bit. But with the nice smoke there stopping them, not able to get the Viper. Trying the sight lines. Ooh, Wingman gets a concussive off. Gecko is taken out on Boise State's side. With the spike about to blow though, Boise State's just gonna teleport out, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, after that win, I mean, the spike being so close to, like, you just got to get out of it as fast as you can.
Don't lose your guns. Don't get taken out after winning. That's never a good feeling.
Yeah, you don't want to go into an eco.
Yeah, and we're starting to see the momentum shift. Boise State not wanting to create a huge gap between rounds. We're now 3 rounds difference. 6 on Ohio State, 3 on Boise State. The eco's starting to even out a little bit now too, which is going to make the firefight matches a bit more about precision than just pure strength.
Yeah, we're seeing full shields on both sides, which is interesting.
Trailblazer going out. Boise State trying to get some information. Ohio State really hiding in the background here on B. Deadlock gonna go with the ultimate, just getting ready to push up, gain some space. Tries to go for the net, isn't able to get anyone in it. Wingman puts the spike down. And now Boise State just gonna try and hold down. Ooh, nice grenade there. Gonna be able to slow down Ohio State. Members get taken out in the hallway there. B-Stipe being locked down. I don't know, good wall block there from just everyone. And now Ohio State not looking too comfortable. Boise State having 5 players and Ohio State having 3.
Yeah, Raze is ready for Ohio State to peek right out there.
Oh, he goes
One
out.
enemy
Boise
remaining.
State gets knocked out. 1 enemy left on Ohio State's side here. Boise State holding down the spot. Once again, Gecko holding down, trying to take out as many players as possible. Not going to be able to knock out Boise State. Gets the last deadlock, but gets hit by the spike. Yeah, really good plays there from Deadlock in that match. We got to see just kind of the power of that agent, I think, with, barrier mesh being a really nice shield. I think it's a really cool 4-way idea to be able to lock down people. I saw one time it actually trapped someone in a square because of the way it was set up on the wall. And so because of that, it's just really good. And that was a really nice grenade spot too. I didn't even know that it was there until we looked up and I was like, ooh, those poor people in the hallway are not gonna have a good time.
Yeah, Deadlock's got some interesting strategies they can play with for sure.
Now we're gonna go back into Thrash. Thrash is back for Boise State. Gonna push up, try and look for anyone, doesn't see anyone. Now gonna be looking for their opportunity. Smokes go down. We know Boise State ready to go for B. We're gonna see the barrier mesh go out. Boombot up. Raze is gonna be taken out by Fade. Sky's gonna go and hand the spike to Gecko, probably waiting for the wingman to go ahead and plant. Once again, gonna get a nice little wingman cam there. Boise State hanging on. 4-5 right now. Losing a player, but gonna pull out another Thrash. Get the hawk out, just kind of double up on everything. The showstopper goes out for Ohio State. Boise State losing 2 players right now, so Ohio State's 1. More information for Ohio State here. Gecko gonna try and hold the line. Takes out the other Gecko. 2-2 now. They're gonna go for the
One
defuse.
enemy
Boise
remaining.
State, however, is gonna get the knockout on Ohio State. Really close there.
Last
taking
round
another
in the
round.
half.
And this is the last round before swap, and we're almost tied.
Yeah, Brimstone just waited for the right moment there and took it right as he saw it. Just having that momentum to wait for Ohio State to push forward towards them.
Yeah, I just was amazed at how many ultimates we saw go out there too. I mean, we saw Gecko, we saw Fade. I heard raises, did not see it, but just a lot of that just kind of last moment, like, let's get it in as quick as we possibly can, which ended up working out in Boise State's favor, even though with Fade's ult going out, that was pretty dangerous for them. Loss of information, advantage. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the replays again while we wait for the timeout. Once again, we can see that barrier mesh really kind of forcing Brimstone into an unfortunate spot there. And Brimstone able to hold down as the plant goes through for Deadlock. It's just a kind of a fun little area. Again, Brimstone Deadlock seem to be a very dangerous combo, I'd say, for any kind of prevention of push or even defense.
Yeah, Brimstone with his strong smokes, but also Deadlock having those different strategies with the grenades and everything puts a strong push on the opposing team.
And speaking of like strong pushes, because Boise State was able to get a couple good rounds here, gain a lot of eco and kind of force Ohio State into a much more unfortunate position. I mean, we're seeing 3 light shields, 1 full shield, and 1 no shield. I salute that Fade. I think it was Fade.
I've got
We're
your
gonna see some
trail.
abilities go out immediately. The Seekers go out for Sky, gonna try and gain some information on A side. Boise State deciding against any A-side pushes right now are going to rotate over to B. Viper holding it. Wingman already going for the spike here. We're going to begin. Viper holding down in the side area here.
There's my buddy.
Not going to take anyone out immediately, but Raze is going to be able to take out the Fade. Deadlock taken out by Viper. Viper taken out by Sky. Keeping it pretty even here. Ohio State only having 1 less member. Prestige kind of stuck in window, gets taken out, but gets a trade.
One
so
enemy
now
remaining.
1 player left on Ohio State's side for the retake. Tries to throw out Dizzy at him as he's going to pull out Thrash to try and push them back, but no avail. Boise State going to go try and get the Wingman out there. Looks for a concussive blast, but doesn't going to happen. Gecko's going to try and defend as Wingman goes into pull, but he's not able to.
Yeah, we saw Gecko versus Gecko there.
The Wingman battle once again. We're getting a lot of Wingman in this match. It's sad. I've never really seen Wingman be super successful on retakes, you know, trying to get the spike out just because everyone is so careful. They're like, we're not going to let this happen. We can't let it sneak past us. So not a lot of retakes, but we have seen a lot of Wingman and Gecko throwing out just all their abilities, especially on B side. It's a very good spot for Gecko, it seems.
Yeah, well, for Gecko trying to put out Wingman for the spike, I mean, it's kind of hard because a lot of the situations where you need to put out Wingman would be in like a deathmatch situation or like a firefight where all the action's going on right there, and so it's pretty hard to get a Wingman out at the right time.
Yeah, Wingman not very sturdy, but now we're going to see a little bit of a mix-up here as we have swap sides. Boise State now on defense, Ohio State now on offense. Time to see how the strategies change. Boise State pushing up through showers here. Gets hit by a GravNet. GravNet is going to be taken out. Rayriana down. 2 players on Ohio State side down. Ohio State going to be pushing up through B here. Locking down Boise State on A. Not really recognizing, I think, fully where Ohio State is yet. Ohio State going to begin the plant. And now it's going to be a rough retake here as Ohio State's got a lot of control of the map right now.
Yeah, Boise State's trying to push towards them, trying to push Ohio State back towards B.
Now paint shells go out. Boise State able to dodge it. Gecko moving forward. Going to have to try and brave the smoke a little bit here. Looking for a potential Dizzy spot. Not going to take it immediately. Have a second. Oh, Fade's abilities out. Dizzy's going to go through. They're going to begin the push. Blinds are out, but Boise State is not able to get through Brimstone, who gets all 3 of those. My goodness.
Yeah, we saw an attempt for Gecko to try and flash out there and try and get some of the momentum to push Ohio State even further back and even get some of those players off. But yeah, like you said, Brimstone just ready for it.
Yeah, watching his angles really well. Serving Ohio State well as they're able to keep the lead. denying the tie right now, 7-6. Seeming pretty comfortable on bind, both attack and defense, which would make sense considering what we've heard. All right, we begin again. Boise State trying to go for the defensive here. Not going to push up as much as they did previously. Ohio State taking it a little bit slower as well. Ohio State chilling in garden. Don't want to really push that angle much on their own as Sky.
Yeah, we're seeing Boise State here just kind of waiting for Ohio State to make their first play. But both teams trying to taking it slow.
Yeah. Just watching the angles. Ohio State, very slow about this one right now. And they've got the time. Boise State did a little bit of a rotation because they're not quite sure where they're going to show up. But so far, Ohio State pretty content to take it slow and just try and gain as much information as possible. Spike just chilling in the back.
It is interesting. They're not trying to go for a spike play here. They're just trying to go for a team deathmatch right here. Trying to find the momentum on either A or B. Looks like more so B right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of
30
hanging
seconds
out.
left.
30 seconds left though. Ohio State can't really let that happen for long. Trying to decide where they're gonna go. Looks like we're gonna go through B side. Boise State trying to lock it down. Got some smokes out. We're gonna swap and rotate and decide it's maybe a better way to go to A side as Ohio State takes out a member of Boise State's
10
team.
seconds left.
And the brawl will begin. Is he gonna go out? Oh, taken out
planted.
immediately. The spike has been planted. There's angles there. Takes out Viper. Raze takes out Sky. Kind of a standoff here. Another member of Ohio State down, even in players. Now, as I say
player
that,
standing.
now Ohio State only has one player left. Fade on the defuse here. We're going to push them back. Boise State able to get. Oh my goodness. What was that?
Not even sweating.
Wow. Wow. Okay. You know, Boise State attempting to go for the defuse, denied. Wow.
That was a crazy clutch.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, Ela was ready for that. Just had both all angles set, right momentum, right speed. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
That was I think I think there was a little bit of tempo to that too. It was like bam, 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 like perfect timing. My goodness. Giving Ohio State another round that Boise State almost had in the bag there. Now I'm going to push up a little bit faster. Going into shower. Where bane of Boise State's existence earlier. Kind of playing both sides right now. Trying to prevent Boise State from figuring out where they're exactly going to push.
Yeah, we see Boise State holding down A pretty hard. Trying to make sure that Gecko is right there. Is holding A. Checking the angles.
Bring them down.
Prowler going to go out. Not gaining a ton of information from that. So Ohio State gonna move very carefully here. Now gonna pull back. All right. Sky watching that angle, gonna push back a little bit, starting to recognize where they might be going. Not quite sure. You know, it doesn't look like Ohio State is fully sure where they're going either.
Blinded.
Now getting a little bit more confident in B side again.
Did good.
Wingman trying to
30
check
seconds left.
for Gecko. Viper's able to take out Brimstone. Devastating as Viper's now going to
Spike down
rotate back.
B.
They've done the chaos creation that they wanted, took out a player, and now they're going to just kind of go for the spike plan. Boise
enemy
State
remaining.
pushing in. Chaos over on that side. Ohio State down to one member who's trying to rotate around
10
as much as
seconds
they
left.
can. Boise State has control of the spike, though.
We're about to
just
see
gonna
a
watch-
fight through B window right there.
That's a rough spot to be, even as Viper. And with that, defenders are able to win on time. Which, for defenders, never a bad thing to happen. If you're able to keep spike and just wait it out, perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, trying to get through B window there. I mean, that's a hard take, especially one player left, trying to find all the angles where they could be at. But Boise State was just ready for anything that was going to happen right there.
Yeah, Boise State had the perfect amount of people to deal with windows. I mean, having 3 people Those are 3 really nice angles on window that Viper just did not have the power to contest. With that, Ohio State is going to try a little bit of the slow game again, leaving Spike near the middle. Oh, Prestige tries to pop out there, sees 2 players, gonna back off with some blinds, checks for window. No one's there though, so just gonna chill out. Prowler's gonna go out looking for information. Nothing there. Ohio State trying again, looking for their information spot, but playing it slow as they can. Starting to look to rotate to A, potentially. Brimstone just kind of holding in the back. I do appreciate you can kind of see he's like, which direction are we going? Looks like we're going to start rotating towards A. Viper holding a strong sightline here. Skies gets shot a little bit. 80 health right now. Not a great spot to be. Knows where they're coming from, though. The smokes begin. Brimstone's going to try and cut off some sightlines here.
Yeah, Brimstone trying to go right back where Raze just was, finding that new angle where they can come out
Spike
and
planted.
try and get that Brimstone.
Spike planted on Ohio State's side. Boise State going to try and push in a little bit here. Brimstone is marked, doesn't want to cause too much chaos. Going to look for another smoke opportunity here. Smokes, showers. Wingman is going to go for the defuse. It's now or never for Ohio State, but they're not going to get a lot of opportunity here. With the ultimate going out, the defuse goes through. And Boise State able to take the round, bringing it back tied 8-8.
Yeah, seeing that Gecko right there trying to get that defuse with Wingman was a really big decider right there. I mean, even with the 2 kills at the end, having Wingman to be able to go out was a great play.
I mean, having Wingman out is essentially like having a 6th player, which is never a fun thing in a game where player count matters. So having that extra player that essentially gets to cover one of the most important jobs, you know, that no one wants to do. No one wants to defuse. No one wants to be the spike dropper. So you have Wingman do it, and now you've got an extra free hand to deal with it, and that's been really effective. Boise State gonna jump into long here on B side, trying to watch that sightline, but Ohio State seems to have guessed where they're gonna be and is gonna sneak through. Oh my goodness. Are they really gonna sneak through here? Ohio State starts to sneak, isn't able to get it. The Rays figuring out, Thrash goes out, Boise State not able to push up with that as much as they want. Ohio State beginning to lock down B, Boise State trying to push through, the smokes are down, blocking the sight lines though. Boise State looking for that opportunity, going to reclaim a companion. Boise State having to kind of push back here, Brimstone maybe looking for the flank, decides not to do it. Seeker's going out. Now gonna look for an opportunity with smokes down. Boise State getting some better visibility. Thrash going out on both sides. Window being a hold spot. Rays able to take out the opposing Rays. Boise State losing players. 1 player left for Boise State. 2 on Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State having that really locked down that window right there. Having those peaks ready and set for Boise State to come right on by.
Remaining.
Oh, gets the fade. 1-on-1 now. Ohio State might lose this, but they're able to take it out and get another spike detonation, keeping their lead ever so slowly here. That was chaos.
Yeah, it was crazy to see. I mean, with, again, B window, just Ohio State holding strong there, just finding those angles and having the right Brimstone smoke set up so they can still be able to see through it, but also hold their position.
Yeah, those Brimstone smokes were so good for stalling. I mean, one thing that's always really rough whenever you're trying to go into a site is no visibility. And so anytime you can stall, which is what Brimstone is kind of a master at, you're not going to have a great time. And we saw Boise State was very hesitant to move through there. So now they're going to have to be careful. Ohio State starting to get close to the end of round here. Not many more matches to go for either opponent, so the question will be who can kind of run away with it. We're seeing Ohio State going for a more strong commit to A this time around. Trying to set up the line here with the poison on
Yeah,
Viper.
Boise State recognizing now. I mean, they're noticing that they're trying to go B now.
Face your fear!
Sorry, A.
Launching smoke.
Ultimates are going out. The firefight begins. Brimstone taking out on both sides. Fade now gone for Ohio State. Boise State kind of trying to lock it down as much as possible. Gecko going through showers from behind. He's set up the flank. Sky joining him, now gonna take out the Viper. Moving in, the plant is going to go down. Boise State
planted.
kind of running through because the plant has begun on B side. Good rotation from Ohio State. They're going to try and lock it down. Trailblazers going out. Sky trying to gain some information. Boombot going the other way. Trying to lock down their sight lines. Able to take out the Rays. Ohio State has one player left. Gecko trying to hold the line here. He's going to be taken out though. Boise State's going to be able to get the defuse.
Yeah, we saw good play there from Boise State, just having that lineup of players right there. So if the first one in the front was to die, the second one would just be able to get that shot.
Yeah, Boise State not really going to let it be a runaway like I thought could happen for either side. We're going to go tied as much as we can. 9-9, both players, both looking pretty comfortable. Ohio State having to be a little bit more careful about their eco. That could be very dangerous going into this last couple rounds here. As Boise State gets to be very comfortable full buying shields and guns.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Ohio State with their pistol building. I mean, they've been pretty strong. We've seen even past games too. So
True.
having full pistols pretty much almost this entire round.
Yeah, Boise State gonna try and lock down A little bit more. Once again, going a little bit more of a split up strategy here. Ray Rihanna looking that sight line, looking for whether or not the barrier mesh. We're mincing words today apparently. Looking for that opportunity to lock it down. Gonna lock down showers, deny any movement from that spot. Ohio State taking some damage already on B side with Rays down and Fade hurting pretty bad. Boise State getting a little bit more confident, gonna push up, take out the Brimstone. Ohio State with 3 players left, hurting for a lot of resources now as Boise State just locking down this sight line here. 5 players completely and spike
One enemy
down.
remaining. Spike down A.
Yeah, we're seeing Rays try and push through right there, and then Ray Rihanna just holding that showers right there.
Yeah,
With that Brimstone smoke, it's kind of hard to find any angle.
yeah, the sight lines are locked down. Ooh.
Gun here.
The gun just popping out right there. You know that, like, that Viper was safe for just a second until the pistol just peeked out barely. Now
Yeah,
we're
without that Brimstone, it's kind of hard to hold that point.
yeah, and we could see Ohio State really just not able to do much with that. Oh, we're going to get the replay of that. No, I thought Viper might get away with it for a second, might get to hide. Yeah, that smoke gone. Just instant lock into the
Little
angle
peek.
right there.
Are we seeing less pistols on Ohio State side? We got more eco opportunities here. We got more shields, some more rifles able.
Yeah, both teams more evenly matched in the arsenal category, but we're going to go right into the firefight with Rays being taken out on Ohio State's side.
Go Ohio State going long here, trying to push Boise State back towards B.
Yeah, Boise State holding down the line, though, not really wanting to give into that. Spots the Viper on A side. Potentially, maybe not actually. Rays did not see that. Sky's going to try and rotate off. Viper's just going to chill there. Might get a little bit of lurking from Viper in the corner. That's always fun. Now just kind of in a bit more of a stalemate. Ohio State trying to decide what they want to do. Boise State not wanting to give up A yet. Not sure if that might be where they come from. Ohio State going to do a teleport. Going to rotate over to A. Ray Rihanna getting ready. Preparing for the potential assault. But Ohio State not immediately rushing in. They're going to reconnect with Viper. Gecko might be going for another rotate. Ohio State just kind of
30 seconds left.
moving around. 30 seconds left, though. They don't have a lot of time to really consider where they're going to go, and it looks like they've decided to push. Viper's going to take out the Ray Rihanna, finally deciding to pop out from their hiding spot, as Ohio State's going to move up to B.
Yeah, Boise State now recognizing Ace, not the plant spot. Now they're going
10
to rotate
seconds
back
left.
to B.
Ooh, Brimstone taken out. Ultimately go out from Brimstone. Gonna deny the spike there. Spike is out. Fade, last one standing, just going to try and save resources as much as possible. Boise State taking the momentum, now 11-9. Timeout's going to begin as Ohio does not want the potential of that momentum to continue.
Oh, we're going to see some replays here.
Let's see, what are we going to check out? We're going to see potential Thrash gets discontinued, but some really nice picks there from Sky, and also a really well-placed Brimstone ultimate. It's such a good stopping power ability, you know? I just have found anytime you're trying to stop someone, Orbital Strike them.
Yeah, I mean, Brimstone's ultimate is just so powerful in the sense of that when there's a big area like that with so many players just having this firefight right there where there's not really much spaces to go, Brimstone with that ability to just strike the entire playing field kind of gives them that advantage.
Yeah, and this map, Bind, is especially, like, I think good for him. It's got so much space where people are just naturally going to clump together. Like, you talked about that, but it's like, for being a kind of open map where the spikes are, people just tend to have this one spot they like to go, and Brimstone totally ready to Orbital Strike that. I mean, we've seen, I think, 3 or 4 now. All of them have been pretty deadly, and in one case, it was denying the spike in this last one, which once again, denying spike, so satisfying if you're the defender, but if you're the attacker, never good to watch the spike go down. And for Ohio State, they're going to be hurting here. Low eco, not good. Boise State almost up to match point here. 9-11. Going to be very carefully thinking through their actions as they get ready to go in. I think that it's going to be a very hard uphill battle from this point on. Boise State has gotten comfortable on the defense. Ohio has been kind of struggling to decide where they want to go on attack. I don't know, they're going to have to kind of switch it up, I think, if they're going to want to be able to take any more points.
Yeah, it's going to be some hard rushes from Ohio State's side. I mean, they've been taking lawns so many times, and I think now with that change-up, just some hard rushes right into that main will be interesting to see.
Yeah. We'll see what they're going to decide. Looks like they might not be doing that, though, and going a little bit more slow and spread out. Boise State kind of holding on here. Boise State looking for the rotate, thinking they might go to B, going to rotate away from A. Raze and Rayriana, Deadlock and Raze are going to stay on A. Ohio State kind of just holding.
Gecko with the spike here, but trying to play it safe, not to peek all the way through B, as he's in B lawn right now.
He knows better than to peek when he's the only one there. We don't want to lose another spike. Boise State just holding down the sight lines here. And with that, Ohio State's going to just kind of slow roll. Looks like we're waiting for a player to fully reconnect. Might be a little much slower game due to that. Brimstone from Ohio State going to move up. Might see a little bit more action now. Really clumped up the Dizzy from Ohio State, going to blind Brimstone as he's trying to put his smokes down. Gonna try and move into showers. Rayriana getting hit. Thrash is gonna come out as well. Rayriana taken out. Ohio State taking some advantages here. Showstopper gonna go out. Not gonna get anyone. Plant is gonna go through. Gets denied by Boise State. 2 lost on both teams, both even, but able to win on time expired. Ooh, couple last takeouts too. Not great. Never fun to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, with the Gecko and the Brimstone matchup right there, just fighting against that Ohio State, as they were trying to go for the defuse. Yeah, it was insane to see.
Yeah, it was a good peak from Boise State on that one. Ohio State had a really good push there, though, able to take out some kind of just needed sight lines, messing with the Brimstone with Dizzy. Always good to be able to get that off. But with that, Boise State is on match point and might get to show who the better team with Bind is. This is a preference map. We're already going to get into it. Chaos begins. Ultimate go
down
out. Dizzy blinding Rayriana on the ultimate here. 2 to 3 already. Viper getting stuck in showers. Good to activate ultimate. Gets taken out. Rayriana not having any of that. Gonna deny as much as possible. And now Boise State has 3 players to the 1 player with Spike on Ohio State, who's gonna try and get the rotate. Gets hit by Thrash though. And with that, Boise State is going to take the final point and win the game overall.
Wow, I mean, Gecko with that last Thrash right there was a big, strong ending to Boise State. and to have that ability of just going right through the portal and jumping on him and getting that push was good.
Yeah, it's not often that we get to see Thrash actively hit anyone. He's normally just to make people move away, gain some information, but actually getting a hit on is huge. And as we saw, Ohio State tried to go for more of a push, like a faster push, but just did not have the sight lines ready, and Boise State was ready to shut down the ultimates. Personally, I'm glad they really shut down the Viper. That could have been horrible for them. And with that, Boise State able to take the entire game 2-0 against Ohio State, proving, in a way, I suppose, that who's more comfortable on bind in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Boise State just having that bind strength, and we saw a lot of strong strategies, especially through Gecko and Brimstone, and even Ray Rihanna with a lot of the shots of finding those peaks where they were able to find the areas that were best made for them, and also best made for the Gecko spots. I mean, Gecko with a lot of the peaks and in different areas of it, a lot of them matched up with Brimstone and the smokes, made it a lot easier for them to go right through to the plant.
Yeah, overall, I think we got to see a lot of characters shine, a lot of beautiful character combos shine as well. We got some great Omen in the very beginning, showing off just the power of being able to reposition and like just get some good blinds off of, then jumping to Gecko with just constant, combo after combo with other players, and the power of Brimstone stall. We had some awesome, I think, just wonderful strats and combos from everyone today. As Boise State and Ohio State close out for tonight, we're so excited that you joined us, and have a great night as we give you the top 5 plays of the game.